My name is Bruno, and we're here to share about the subject of what I call mindfulness in intimacy, emotional awareness. Um, just a brief about me. I basically have been all my adulthood in the path of self-discovery. I started with Vipassana meditation, 2 years in a monastery. And then I jump into the other stream, what I call the other stream, Osho commune, where from being in just meditation in Osho commune was expanded to all, let's say, normal things in life that we usually live, like relationships, relations with others, and how to apply the benefits of meditation and self-discovery into our daily life. I was living for 7 years there, and after that life put me to facilitate, and now it's over 20 years that I'm facilitating different workshops on self-discovery, meditation, emotional awareness, and mindfulness in intimacy, tantra, etc. So in this mindfulness intimacy work, I divided in these two parts, emotional awareness and relationships and intimacy. Why? Because first, before going on what we maybe all like, intimacy with others, we need some intimacy with ourselves. We need to know how our emotional world is working and how to relate to our emotions, to our inner world, in a healthy and nourishing way. Yeah? Then we have more possibilities to relate to others with more authenticity, being more knowing who am I, where I'm coming from, and therefore giving more chance to a nourishing intimacy with others. Okay, so for this I use a map, and I want to introduce you to the map, basic map. I use many maps, but I want to introduce you to the basic map that we use for this work. Okay, so first thing I like to mention is that this is not a philosophy, it's not a system of beliefs. The important thing is what you can see for yourself. We are just setting up a context and a space where we can explore inside. So the important thing is not a teaching that I want to do to you, is what we create a space, and whatever you can realize, that's what is valuable. Yeah? So these are maps in order for us to understand better in our emotional and energetical world. This is the basic map I use, and I'm going to just explain it briefly. So essence, vulnerability, and protection, 3 layers. Essence here represents that we are all born with. This is who we are really. Yes, let's say our hearts, our presence. This is the essence of who we really are, and no one can take this from us. Yeah, no one can take this from us. So, in a way, it's like what we're looking for. The qualities of essence is what we're really looking for. It's our way back home, and the way we would like to relate, where we feel that, or we have the intuition that it will be really nourishing, is from this essence. I like to bring the metaphor of a baby, because essence cannot be described, but maybe it's when we see a baby that can reflect us those qualities of innocence, of freshness, of totality, of being here for life or whatever it is, no conditioning, no should, know how you should be, know how I should be. If I feel like crying, I totally cry. If I feel like laughing, I totally laugh. If I feel like scratching my head, I just scratch my head. So a baby is like in spontaneity, openness, totality in the moment. It's like an openness to life as it is now. Yes? And this maybe can reflect us the loving for this moment with whatever it is. Yes? But then this baby is we all have been babies, this baby is very vulnerable, it's very dependent from the adults. Yes, a human baby cannot survive by itself. And then comes the vulnerability part, where we have our fears, our insecurities, because for a baby, it's just necessary to feel the attention the value, the recognition, the love from others. Without attention, without value, without love, the baby just cannot survive. No? I mean, someone needs to come and realize that you're hungry, give you food, take care of you. Without that, it's a survival thing, yes? So here is where we have, and I'm gonna bring a more developed map here, where we have our insecurities, our fears, our fear of abandonment, our sense of inadequacy. Am I being good enough? Am I not being good enough for what they want in order to receive the love that I need, the attention that I need, the unworthiness, the shame, yes? Basically, insecurities, fear, emotional pain. Now, this is quite uncomfortable for such a vulnerable and open soul to fully live it, yeah? So, about the armor, what I want to say is it's not a negative thing. Armor was necessary because for a baby, this is basically impossible to fully live it. We will become mad, we will die if we fully live this emotion. So we need to build up an armor in that moment, yes? In order to try to disconnect me a bit from that pain and that fear, yeah? So the armor was necessary in that moment. Now, the problem that we're going to see here is that the armor has this function of disconnecting from our emotional world. One of the main functions. And this, for an adult, soon is going to realize that, well, soon or not so soon, we're going to realize that this is not enriching in love enough. It's like it disconnects me. It makes a division within myself from what I'm really feeling, from what is really there, and my protection layer. The armor is the protection layer. So what we learn is to use strategies, compensation, masks, roles, controls, in order not to feel fully those uncomfortable feelings. Now, there's another function in the armor that is to create the character that is going to do well in life, yes? Is that character that is going to be accepted, that is going to be valued, that is going to be loved, and is going to do well in life. Again, this is an ideal of how should I be in order to be accepted, valued, and loved. So again, is a disconnection from our authenticity, trying to be something else. Yes? And all this, it might be required in a given moment, but is also putting us in a way out and disconnected from our truth. Now, the way back home is going to be realizing how these strategies, compensations, these masks, are not giving me what I'm really looking for, are not giving me the qualities of the essence. It may be like they look like promising for a future. Okay, I'm not good enough, but I will be, yes? And then we keep chasing. I usually use the metaphor of a carrot, chasing carrots, yes? So we keep chasing carrots in our life, and we put masks, and we try to be accepted and valued and loved, but in a given moment we're going to realize that this is giving me a feeling of emptiness, and the feeling that I'm not good enough is always coming back, and it doesn't feel good, and I don't know how to relate to this. Yes? So the main thing here is going to be realizing this character that I have become attached to, because this is what I have believed that I should be in order to find love, to find acceptance, to find nourishment. And actually, as I become aware of these characters, I realize that it's not really possible that it will finally give fully this to me, because this actually is getting far and more far from my essence, yes, of who I really am. So for that, our way back home is going to be the possibility to start to meet and open up to what is really underneath. Realize, let's say, the falsity, the fakeness, the emptiness, the price we pay to keep trying to live in this armor. And from there, naturally, it opens to the possibility of relating to what is really happening underneath in my inner world from a space of the heart, from a space of presence, from a space of love. That starts to give me a sense of authenticity and nourishment that I don't find usually in the armor. Now, what happens here is we usually relate to another one also from the armor, and the other one also responds from the armor. Yes? So we have relationships that are looking for attention, for love, for acceptance, for feeling that I have reached to how should I be. But of course, this is going to take us to frustration, disappointment, disillusionment, and pain, because this is going to arise anyway. Yeah? This is what is underneath. Now, I would like to suggest you, can you realize that you have used strategies, compensations, masks, roles, control, in order not to be just with your inner world, with those insecurities and fears that you may have, we all have, yes? Do you realize that you use behaviors, actions, attitudes, ways of life maybe, in order to try to avoid to meet our inner world? Which strategies, what do you do in life? What behaviors you use? What ways you try in order to avoid meeting your inner world? That is a question that I like to leave for your observer, for your watcher, for you watching life being displayed, and then the possibility to bring awareness, to bring the light of awareness to what is really not giving yourself what you're looking for. Yes? As more awareness we bring, awareness is going to be here the main tool. Yes? Awareness brings us automatically to the heart. Yes? As you realize what you do and the character you create that is not you, in order to try to avoid insecurities, fear, pain, you're going to see the price you pay in your life for that. Yes? So that will be a question to have there, like a meditation for some time, and also to have it displaying in your life as you watch yourself. I have to say that waking up from unconsciousness is not always pleasant, yes? So when you realize certain things, it might be painful. I really want to invite you not to judge yourself. We are all in the same boat. And this is something that we have learned. We have been educated to try to be good in that, to try to reach that goal. And unless you reach that, we will not love you and accept you fully. So we have been conditioned for this. Now, my invitation is to just watch and realize and somehow fall from that branch that we try to hang and is false. It's not really supporting us, yes? Now, the other way will be to start to, now with the resources that you have as an adult, presence, openness, willingness to explore, willingness to realize who you are, to know yourself better, so you have a better flow of energy running through yourself, more capacity to live the love that you are, that can embrace yourself just by who you are. So, in order for that, I will also suggest and I will invite us to go in watching what is underneath those strategies. What is there that we're trying to cover by using whatever. Here can be alcohol, can be work, can be entertainment, distractions, can be smoking, can be sometimes relationships in order to cover up my things, sometimes isolation in order not to meet my things. Many things can be used. Yes, there's thousands of things we can use in order to avoid our inner world. So the invitation here is going to be to start to let the question in the air, what is there underneath? What is under our strategies, our character, our ideals that we're trying to avoid? Can we have some space to meet with permission, with openness? What is there underneath? That will be part of our work in our emotional awareness. So it's part one of mindfulness in intimacy, emotional awareness, where we explore our fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, feeling of inadequacy, feeling of unworthiness, and how to relate to these things that we have, our insecurities, so we can feel more nourished, more authentic, and more a unity with our own self. From that, we will see how this influences in how we relate to others, especially intimate relationships. Sometimes we close our heart because we're afraid of pain. Sometimes we just feel very needy, so we cover up our hole. Sometimes we try to play the cool one, like nothing is happening to me and I try not to be affected. And we have different patterns, different roles that we play in our relationships in order to still avoid, like a child, trying to avoid what is really underneath in our inner world. In this work, we are inviting us to grow into our heart and to realize how big is our heart, our presence, that can embrace all this. This directly takes us to live more in this essence. Only essence can have the space to embrace, to open, and to feel nourished by creating a unity of what we have divided inside. Yes, by embracing what is there in our inner world. So I'll be happy to share with you these explorations and to realize how near is from us the possibility to feel more nourished, more in love with ourselves, with life, and the possibility to explore the adventure of intimacy with others and discover ourselves. I leave this here now, this exploration for yourself, and we'll have workshops exploring specifically the rejection and the abandonment feeling, the fear of not being good enough, the wound of invasion and the shock, and then patterns in relationship, healing detrimental dynamics that appear in relationships, different stages of intimacy. So you're really welcome, and it's a joy to have space and time to share about this. Thank you for your attention and welcome to Contact.